Kyle Harrison is on his way back up.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I were both trying to figure out, okay, what does that mean? Is he just going to be in the bullpen? We saw that his velocity was way, way up, back into the upper 90s, which I think it was Susan Slusser had an article about it, which he attributes to strengthening his shoulder, battling back from injuries last season, plus when he was ill. And so he figured out some things and just thinks that his shoulder is stronger, and he was throwing in the upper 90s. So he is up. We'll talk about this guy in a little bit, but Bird Dog, my guy Birdsong, he's still killing it. 18 innings, and I think he's only given up 2 earned runs in those 18 innings. And now you have the back end of the Giants rotation not doing as well as the beginning of the Giants rotation. Jordan Hicks, he pitched pretty good on Saturday. He did not get the win because when he came out, they had given up the lead. Verlander's been pitching a lot better as well. They're not taking Verlander out of starting rotation. No way.
No.
But
you can't do that to a Hall of Famer who just signed a 1-year deal with your team. There's no way that one's
the only way he's leaving the rotation is if he gets hurt. That's the only reason.
Right. And he's still pitching well. That's the thing. He's still pitching well enough. I mean, he should have 2 wins in the last 2 outings, 2 of the last 3 outings. But the bullpen gave it up, and the bullpen doesn't give up a lot of games, so that was a bit frustrating. It's just one of those perfect storms. Like, this doesn't happen, and it happened twice. So I'm not banking on that to continue to happen.
So the other 2 spots, Jordan Hicks seems like the kind of pitcher that he kind of needs to know what his role is. Like, he has to focus. He's got to prepare. He's got to get his body right. And so that other position, that other slot is Landon Roupp, who did a lot of long relieving or just relieving in general last year. And his ERA, as of right now, because of today's game, he's given up 4 runs, is over 5. So you look at kind of how now you have Birdsong and you have Harrison both kind of ready and available if they believe Landon Roupp has to figure some things out to get back to what he was in the first few starts of the season. You have that flexibility, and it's not like, Landon Roupp had to deal with this last year. He wants to start. Everyone wants to start, but like, the proof is in the pudding right now. And I think that is a possibility. Harrison, Birdsong, either of those guys, you could just pop right into the rotation if need be. And if not, and if Roupp figures this out, then you have 2 lightning arms in the bullpen, which just enhances that bullpen, which has already been so good this year so far. And Lou Trevino is the one who got taken off of so technically he got DFA'd. Is that what the story was for Lou?
Yeah, he got DFA'd. Yeah.
But he was, nice story to kind of come back after the time away, and he hopefully showed enough to where he could latch on somewhere else. Then if he clears waivers, I'm sure the Giants would accept him back, and he could go pitch in the minors until they need him again, because they're always going to need the possibility of arms. So where do you sit with the Harrison, Birdsong, Roupp, that whole thing? What would you like to see the Giants do?
It's tough because you can have Roupp go to the bullpen, and he's familiar with that role. He was there last year. May not be happy about it, but seeing him in shorter spurts through lineups might be better when you bring him in, and all of a sudden you've been facing, Harrison, who's throwing 97 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you get Roupp coming in there and dropping those big, hammer curveballs on you for an inning or 2. Or maybe 3. And that's kind of what you want to see at that point, because here we are, Landon Roupp, 5th inning, actually bottom of the 4th inning. So that's second, third time through the lineup, getting tapped around, gave up 4 runs. So I could see Roupp coming out and somebody like Birdsong coming in. The Jordan Hicks thing is tough because he's an emotional dude. He came into this situation. And again, we've talked about this before on this show. I don't have a problem with it. I think Buster Posey could say, look, I didn't sign you as a starter. Obviously, you're not going to word it that way, but you can say the previous regime had that commitment to you, and that's how it went. Yes, Bob Melvin was the manager at the time, but we're mixing things up. We need you in the bullpen. We need you in the back end. We need you throwing, 101 miles an hour out of your butt in the 7th or 8th inning. That's what we need right now. And then you've got Birdsong and Harrison in there. But then where do you go from there? And you still have guys throwing pretty decent in the minors in AAA. You've got Wisenhunt, you've got Black. You've got Seymour. So you've got guys who are starting to build up again. But then your safety net has now gone down to Roupp. That's your safety net at that point. So if one of those guys fails miserably and just has a really tough time in the rotation, then you go to Landon Roupp, put that guy back in the bullpen, and you go from there. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's very tricky, but I would say at this point, Hayden Birdsong has absolutely earned his way into the starting rotation. Would love to see what he can do through 6 innings, 7 innings. Is he that type of pitcher? We don't know. Is he the type of pitcher who can come in and get you through the lineup once, 1.5 times, maybe twice, and then that's it? We don't know. We have to see it. So I think we're getting to the point of the season where we're at the beginning of May. You're going to see a guy that's going to need a break in the rotation. And this may be it for Roupp. I mean, again, 4 runs in 4 innings so far. So could this be the one where they say, look, we need you to take a break from the rotation. Your next time out of the bullpen, it's going to be 2 or 3 innings. That's going to be it. And it's going to be great. And you're going to help us, bridge the gap in a game. And then maybe the next time, we want to see what Birdsong could do for 6 or 7 innings. So maybe the next time your time comes through the rotation, then we pop you back in. I think you can have those conversations. Give the guy a mental break. Look, it's his first time in a rotation in the majors, came firing out of the gate, still has good metrics on all of his stuff. But he may just need a mental break. Or do you go the old school approach and say, work through it, man? Just work through it. But with guys knocking on the door and ready to kick it in, it's hard to say work through it when the fans are like, we're like, hey, there's these 2 other guys throwing some gas. So